Hello, I'm Tim Stout. This channel, 4min-cs, is focused on how engineering, science, and God relate to each other. I have personal experience related to all three of these areas, including 4 decades of industrial design engineering, a degree in physics from UCLA, and 15 years pastoring small churches on a part-time basis. I believe the 4 decades of professional design engineering provide the foundation for many of the fresh insights we will be analyzing in this channel. This will come out as we discuss the issues. Did you know that unbiased science shows that for all practical purposes, a natural, unguided origin of life is impossible? Over the past 60 years, scientists have performed thousands of experiments testing proposed origin of life processes. Every one of these has failed. We understand the reasons for the failures, and there is no demonstrable solution to the problems. Even if some new chemicals that might be useful and advanced towards life appear, they are invariably so contaminated that they're useless. In an unbiased field of science, thousands of failures and no successes would be considered conclusive proof. Scientists believe a natural origin of life is true because they want it to be true, but the actually observed evidence contradicts this conclusion. This is discussed in the playlist, Natural Roadblocks Thwart Natural Origins. Perhaps you're thinking, if this is true, why haven't I heard about it? I'll attempt to show how materialists hijacked true science in the late 1800s. During this time, established science was changed into a vehicle for promoting materialism, which is an unproven philosophy, instead of a search for truth wherever it might lead. The following is the approach typically used by materialists to promote their private philosophical preferences in the name of science. It was established primarily by Thomas Huxley and the X Club in England during the late 1800s. 1. Attack any person challenge evolutionary theory or materialistic philosophy as too ignorant and unteachable to understand the issues. 2. Claim that their arguments are not worth the time to evaluate. These discussions never resolve anything, and in general, they've already been proven false. Notice, to them, it does not matter how strong an argument might actually be. Automatic rejection without analysis will be the normal response. This is fake science. 3. Only allow evidence to be discussed which is presented in a manner promoting validity of materialistic philosophy. Challenges to materialism are specifically forbidden. This too is fake science. 4. Use behind-the-scenes power plays in an effort to suppress forcibly anything that might challenge materialism. This is an abuse of scientific honor and prestige. If you're a university student and attempt to challenge a professor in some of the issues we will present in this channel, except possibly for rare cases, the response you get will typically follow the above pattern. Try it out, but graciously and with respect, particularly if he's going to be giving you a grade. Notice, you will rarely, if ever, get an actual rebuttal to the arguments you present, particularly if they present a threat to materialism and are well supported. Typically, your professors supposedly won't have time to deal with them. How convenient. He will spend more time putting you down or criticizing what you're trying to say than it would take to give a legitimate answer, if he had one. This a priori commitment to materialism spread from England to the entire world. It has become the general approach of modern science in its journals and professors in their university classes. We will discuss these things in detail in the playlist, How Materialists Hijacked Science. Documentation for the discussion will include Dr. Peter Baller's book, Evolution, The History of an Idea, Revised Edition, published by the University of California at Berkeley Press. Dr. Ruth Barton's book, The X Club, Power and Authority in Victorian Science, published by the University of Chicago Press. The writings of Thomas Huxley as collected by his son, Leonard Huxley, and an article by Dr. Richard Lewontin, retired Harvard University biology professor. History is very clear about what happened. Large-scale bacteria-to-man evolution was and still is assumed to be true, and anything challenging this assumption is automatically classified as fake. No discussion allowed. I'm sorry, but this is not true science. If you've been led to believe that modern evolutionary science is an honest search for truth, I believe you will be as shocked as I was at what these documents reveal. It is as though evolutionists today are modern-day replications of Thomas Huxley. They hate the God of the Bible and copy Huxley's methodology. They too suppress open discussion of the issues. They are just as fake as Thomas Huxley was. Natural roadblocks have thwarted every tested pre-life process from providing useful products. So then, what's the alternative? I believe the various fields of design engineering provide a clue. For instance, the primary role of scientists is to study and to understand what exists in nature. Their purpose is not to make things. Thus, they have no clue to offer concerning the steps natural processes could use to develop various features they have discovered. Examples would be the information system contained in a cell's DNA or a cell's intricate feedback control mechanisms. By contrast, engineers make things. Furthermore, engineers understand how to design and then make both information-controlled systems and those having complex feedback control loops. These are the very kinds of features appearing in living cells for which biologists have no explanation concerning initial appearance. Incidentally, I personally have many decades of industrial engineering designing these very kinds of features. I understand very well the extensive educational background and intellectual effort required to solve the problems information and feedback present. If one understands the difficulties to be overcome in providing information systems and feedback control mechanisms, and remembers that natural processes cannot even produce usable amino acids or nucleotides, the whole idea of natural origins is just a screwball. It would make just as much sense to expect a one-year-old baby just learning to walk to win a gold medal in an upcoming Olympic pole vault championship. There is simply no match between capabilities and requirements. The engineering approach is simple. An intelligent being first designs something that he wants, and then he makes it according to the design. This approach has proven effective for making extremely complex objects, ones that go far beyond anything that can be made simply by shining sunlight on raw, non-living chemicals and then waiting for something to happen accidentally. Now, this is important. If the engineering methodology of initial design, then fabrication, is applied to the origin of life issues, this quickly leads to understanding that the life we see around us is the result of a living God, first designing living cells and then making them. We will work through the reasons in detail that lead to this conclusion in the playlist, Engineering, Science, and God. There is a final issue. If some God created everything we see, which God did it? Can we even know him? The fourth playlist, The God of the Bible and Science, will address these kinds of issues. For instance, in Isaiah chapter 46, the Bible says, "I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me," declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things that are not yet done, saying, "My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure." The Bible teaches that its God tells the end from the beginning. He determines what he wants to do, then he does it. Fulfilled prophecy shows the God of the Bible is God, and he alone is. Science and the Bible work together to lead us to the worship of the true God. Much of the material we will talk about in these clips is available in a free online article at this URL. You might want to check it out. Please click on the subscribe button on your screen if you want to keep up to date on these clips as new ones are released. A solid subscriber base would also help me to get high priority in search engine results. The subscriber list is completely anonymous, even to me, unless you deliberately choose to make it public. You will not get notifications unless you deliberately choose to get them. Also, please tell your friends about this channel. Thank you.